So the other night, Joshua Zirkzee was an absolute dream come true. He comes onto the Old Trafford pitch for his debut, scores the winning goal and secures all 3 points. But apart from that, he didn't really do too much, right? Apart from that, he was ineffective, right? Wrong. He may have only played for 30 minutes and he may have only had 12 touches on the ball, but that was still enough to show how Joshua Zirkzee is going to transform this Manchester United attack. So, let's take a look. So a lot of the work for Zirkzee that is going to, transform this Manchester United attack is going to be with purely what his skill set is as a player, where his strengths lie, but also his tactical role in the team, and actually tactical sides of the game that we haven't even discussed before. Starting off with third man runs out wide. Now what we have discussed before is Zirkzee's ability to drop into the centre of the pitch, dragging centre-backs into these areas. What we haven't discussed is the effect of him dropping in slightly wider positions. You see, United have almost at times operated with a front two, in the game against Fulham, but also in pre-season as well. It's not a proper front two, but it is at times, right? Zirkzee dropping in these positions could create really dangerous third-man opportunities for our wingers. Let's say Diogo Dalot has the ball deep, and Joshua Zirkzee comes into this position here. Now what he's going to do as he drops into this position is draw this defender. Now naturally when that happens, the rest of the backline will drop a little bit deeper. They sit off a few yards like this. But of course, there is immediately going to be a very clear diagonal run that can be made by a certain man called Marcus Rashford out to in from the left-hand side into this space. Now, it's quite a difficult ball for Dalot himself to play. However, if you go infield into someone like Bruno Fernandes and then round the corner to Rashford, this could be really dangerous for United. And we did see something similar to this for United the other night. Now, it's Zirkzee on the left-hand side, dropping a little bit deeper and then moving infield. Now, what Zirkzee is going to do here is something pretty simple, but pretty effective. He's just going to sweep the ball on with his first touch. Now, this is the first good thing he's done. Technical security, and the fact that he's doing it all in one motion speeds up the Manchester United attack. But we also need to look at the positioning here, because as we can see, by dropping deeper, he has dragged this defender out here, which now means that Marcus Rashford is going to have this space to go in behind. Now, this is something that United didn't really have last season, because Højlund, for example, would have been in the middle between the two centre-backs, operating in that area. Zirkzee creates space for others in a way unlike most other players on the planet. It really is extremely effective, but he doesn't just do it in advanced areas. He can also do it in deeper positions as well. Take this example here. Manchester United are in their own half, and this is a clear transitioning opportunity for the team. And Zirkzee is immediately, he's not going to go in behind the opposition, he's going to come deeper towards the ball. That's exactly what he does. And he gets the ball into feet in this position, separating himself from the opposition centre-back. He doesn't want to be backing into this player. He wants to create a distance between, a separation between the two, so he can get a bit of time on the ball. And really ask questions simply by existing on the football pitch in this position. Because, as we can see this defender here, we've got isolated. He has to backtrack immediately. He can't go aggressive because he's going to leave space in behind. But then he really has a decision. Who's he meant to be following? Is he meant to be going touch tight on Zirkzee in here? Or is he meant to be following Garnacho? Now, in the end, he does what most centre-backs will do in this sort of situation. Kind of nothing in between the two. He doesn't really apply pressure to Zirkzee. We can see Zirkzee's got all the time in the world here. But he also doesn't get close to Garnacho. And again, it's because of Zirkzee's willingness early in the move, if we go back just a couple of instances, rather than sprinting in behind the defence here. He could have gone in behind here. He could have made a sort of run across here. He could have made that run and perhaps opened up space in that way. But it would have been easier in that sort of situation for the Fulham defenders to follow it. These players could have followed him and marked him. He has that intelligence. He understands that. But he makes that run towards the ball, dropping deeper. And it is this that opens up all that space in behind for Garnacho. And that is what Zirkzee is going to be all about this season. Creating space for others. Being selfless. We don't have enough attackers that do this, which is why, again, Zirkzee transforms the way we attack. This theme was something that continued throughout Zirkzee's cameo. Again here, Manchester United, we're in our own half, and Zirkzee is immediately dropping towards the ball, actually sprinting on this occasion, really keen to get deep and provide an option for the player in possession. And then once he's in this position, he shows his size, he uses his body well, he gets his body in between ball and opposition, lets the ball roll across his body to keep the ball for United. And again, you can see the impact it has on the opposition defence. Because we have got Zirkzee here, this player feels the need to be towards him, to be near him in this area. But you can see the kind of disjointed nature that causes in the Fulham defence, which again means all this space is open for Garnacho. Time and time again, and it's because of Zirkzee dropping deeper. The way that he creates this room for his teammates around him is crucial ultimately. But it's not just about the room he creates for others. It's also the room that he can actually create for himself as well by using those players. The goal itself actually sums this up quite nicely. You see, in the previous moves, the Fulham defenders had chosen to go touch tight to Zirkzee, and that left players in behind in room. Now you can see after 20 minutes of this happening, Fulham have decided they're kind of fed up of it. Instead of going tight on Zirkzee, they're going to follow the runners instead. But that just causes another problem for them. Because as Zirkzee gets the ball in midfield here, the centre-back doesn't know where to go. Should he be going towards Zirkzee? Should he be going towards Garnacho? He's unsure. Early on he was going towards Zirkzee, but that left Garnacho in room. So this time he goes, alright, I'll drop a little bit deeper. I'll give Zirkzee a little bit more space, and I'm going to defend the space in behind me. But that means Zirkzee has all the time in the world to get on the ball. All the time in the world. Now, realistically, he could have been really aggressive here. He could have kind of driven to this space in here somewhere like that. But he chose not to. Instead, he moves the ball out wide. But what I loved here was the hunger to then get himself in the middle. Because I think this has been one of the question marks for him. Yes, he can drop deep and link. Does he have the hunger to get in the box, be a goal scorer, be prolific, be a fox in the box? Is he going to do that side of the game? Yes. Yes, he is. Something really impressive about Zirkzee in the box, and you will notice it as the season goes on, is that he does not need much room at all. Rasmus Højlund can sometimes need a split second longer just to give himself a little more room to get the ideal shot off. Something you will find with Zirkzee, and I'm not putting them against each other by the way, they're both brilliant young players, but something that Zirkzee has over Højlund is that ability to get a shot off from very, very little. He doesn't need much room, and he certainly doesn't need much time. This is a split second. This is an instinctive kind of flick of the left foot out towards the ball to put the ball into the back of the net. And again, it comes because of the two-way threat that is created in this United team. Because again, if you are spending your first 20 minutes dropping deep towards the ball, the centre-backs are following you, and it's leaving this room in behind, right? Let's say that happens for 20 minutes. As the opposition, naturally, you're fed up of getting burned in behind, so you drop off a little bit deeper. But this then creates so much room in front of the defence. This is where United really capitalised in this game. The last 30 minutes, yes, it was transitional, more than what we would like. But fortunately, United had the perfect players to make it transitional. With Garnacho on the pitch at this time, and Marcus Rashford, it was a dream attacking setup on the counter-attack. Bruno Fernandes's passing range, Zirkzee's space manipulation, and then a direct running threat of Rashford and Garnacho was transformative for this United team. It really, really was. The other thing I liked about Zirkzee, kind of in the later stages of the game, was the ball retention and the game management. You see, United are 1-0 up at this point, but we have a tendency as a football club in these situations to still be too direct, to lose the ball, and therefore face attacks, which is the last thing you want when you're 1-0 up with a few minutes to go. Zirkzee was the one player I felt that wasn't doing that. Take this situation here. So he's got this kind of duel in the middle of the pitch here, and he keeps the ball well for his side, and pops it off to Bruno Fernandes, to his left. Now what Zirkzee's going to do immediately after is get the ball back, and now he has room to run. There is a lot of space in front of Zirkzee here. He's got these two runners in front of him, in Garnacho and in Marcus Rashford. He could be aggressive, he could drive forward, he could go for the kill. But what he actually decides to do is just slow it down. There isn't a need, we're 1-0 up. We don't need to put the ball at risk. He chooses to slow it down, puts in a sort of little Cruyff turn in the middle of the pitch, and just moves the ball deeper. He's not satisfied with his work there though. He's then going to make the next movement. So when Lisandro Martinez has the ball, Zirkzee is going to give him that next option. You can see the rest of our players are actually kind of stationary. They're not moving too much. Zirkzee is on the move into that next position, receives the ball into this area, and then once again is just going to pop it off to Bruno Fernandes. It was really good game management. Yes, we maybe lost the opportunity to counter-attack, but again, you're 1-0 up. Sometimes you just need to slow it down. And even then, despite slowing the game down, just a couple of minutes later, you still saw the result of having Zirkzee on your team. Now, Zirkzee doesn't touch the ball once in this situation, and it's actually a horrendous Fulham error. But the error is made worse by the positioning of Zirkzee. Now again, Zirkzee is coming towards the ball. He's occupying a defender, but he is coming towards the ball. Now if we look at the Fulham back four, you can see you've got your three in a line, here, here, and here. But then you've got this one centre-back here, out of position. Out of position, kind of stepping forward to be aggressive onto Zirkzee. Now, as this ball gets hooked in behind, again, granted, it was a terrible error at the back, but the spaces are large Fulham have essentially been turned into a back 3 rather than a back 4. Which means, as the Fulham player makes a mistake here, there's no one there to cover him. See, naturally, there should realistically be a centre-back over here, covering space like this. There should have been that covering defender. In fact, it probably should be this defender making the mistake. But the reason this defender is over here, on the right side of defence rather than the left side of defence, is because the other centre-back is over here, and the reason that he is over here is because